Alrighty folks, it's your boy Seppo here coming at you guys with one of the last vlogs of 2019. Speaking of one of the last vlogs, we all know that 2019 is getting to the end of it, and also my 2019 disc golf season is over. A lot of you wanted like a little put together of my season. How did it go? What did go good? What didn't go so good? And stuff like that. So we're gonna go through my season pretty quickly. I don't want to make this video like extremely long, so we're gonna go through it fast-ish. And this time we're gonna try something. You can ask me questions about my season that do not get covered in this video, and I will be responding to those questions in the comment section of this video. So if you have any questions after the video, ask them, and I will try to respond to as many as I can. And if there's a bunch of the same question, scroll them. You might not have gotten your answer because I don't want to do the same answer to a bunch of questions. But we're gonna go get right to it, starting with where I started from, Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I started off pretty badly, I would say. I was not ready for the season. I remember being really nervous. I did not feel comfortable with my putting. I did not feel comfortable with my sidearm. And a lot of things just were not in the right place yet. And I finished around 30th. And it was just not a good start for my season. And I was kind of nervous getting into it. And after that tournament, I still wasn't feeling any better. So I knew that I did a lot of good things. I just needed to get a few things together. Just a week after that, I played the Memorial Championships, and just a couple weeks after that, I played the Memorial Waco Annual Charity Open. In Memorial, I did a lot better. I think I finished around 15th or something like that, 10th to 15th, somewhere in there. And I remember being very happy with that and thinking that I'm really glad I got it together after Vegas, and exactly those things that were missing, like my putting, it was much better, even though I do remember playing like with Josh Anton, and I remember him actually giving me putting advices during my round, so it still wasn't that good. I remember I missed like 5 putts from inside the circle in a row or something like that. But it was still a lot better. My throwing was excellent, and a lot of things were way better than in Vegas. And just a couple weeks after that, I went to Waco, and I got my best finish ever on that caliber of an event. It was a Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I finished 3rd. I only got, I think, 1 double bogey in the whole tournament, and no other bogeys. I had so many birdies. My throwing was so amazing. Probably the best I have ever been at throwing. I had so many tap-in birdies. I hit every single gap I could. You can go check out the video on Jomez. It was awesome to be playing there, and my putting too, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, that wasn't the shiny part. I was good inside the circle though, and I was extremely happy, obviously, after Vegas, then Memorial, and then Waco. I knew that I was getting better all the time. And then I took a little break, came back to Finland. I played only 2 like small tournaments in Finland, and did some work for like a month. I played 2 smaller tournaments, which I both won. So that was a good sign also. I was doing good, everything was feeling nice. And after that I went to the West Coast swing, playing, I have made a video of this actually. You can go check out that video more specifically, but I played Goat Hill Challenge, San Francisco, Santa Cruz, Beaver State Fling, and Portland Open. I remember playing like in a couple of those earlier events up to Santa Cruz, like a mediocre. San Diego tournament, the Goat Hill Challenge, I finished 2nd. I played pretty good. My throwing was good, but my putting, especially the final round, was really weak. So under some nerves and wind, my putting got pretty weak, and I finished 2nd. I feel like I should have won that tournament, but congratulations to Thomas Gilbert. He won that one, which was followed by the San Francisco tournament. I actually finished 10th, in that tournament, which was pretty good. I was, considering the wind, I was putting way better than the previous week. That wasn't bad. I kind of continued being like solid after my third place finish after Waco, playing good rounds for the most part. And then after that, I went to Santa Cruz, and that was really, really bad for me. I remember I have this thing where if I'm doing bad at something, I usually call my mom because she really listens to me. She gives me really important advices. So I remember I had a really big crisis call with my mom after the tournament. I finished like around 30th, and I just did everything really bad. Not really bad considering I was still 30th, but I felt like there was so many things I could have done better. It was just like easy mistakes that I made that counted up to many, many strokes and dropped me all the way to 30th. And then I went to Portland Open. Well, I'm gonna talk about Portland Open and Beaver State Fling as a whole, because that was like a 2-week stretch where I was the best that I have ever been in my life. I don't even remember being flashy, amazing, but I was just extremely consistent. I had the best focus I have ever had. I was putting good. I wasn't putting flashy once again. If you watch those videos, I'm not putting amazing, but I'm not really missing any putts either, especially inside the circle. And that's really important part. I was also throwing real clean. I was having confidence with my putter, mid-range, driver, hyzers, rollers, and it paid off. I played amazing. I got third place in Portland Open, and I got second place in Beaver State Fling. In both of those tournaments, I was only one stroke off the first place for sudden death. And in Portland, I ended up getting third because Eagle and Drew were tied for first, so I got third place. And with Eagle in Beaver State Fling, Eagle winning it, I was only one stroke back from him going into the last hole, and we both ended up taking a par. So that is incredible. Obviously, I was at the highest of my disc golf career. Of the 13 years I've been playing this game, I was now on the top for the first time ever, and it really felt amazing. I felt like I had accomplished my dream. I had become the player that I always dreamed of being, competing for the win, being the best in the world. If not the best, currently I was second best in the world because Eagle got first place twice and I was only one stroke after him 2 tournaments in a row. So that was actually a 3-week stretch because there was a week in between. So for 3 weeks I felt like I had my game together so good. And yeah, obviously it was awesome. And following the Beaver State Fling, I flew back to Finland, and I had a few tournaments planned to play here, and I was feeling good. I wasn't feeling bad. I remember playing around with my good friend Severi. Severi, shout out for you. I know you want the shout out, so you can now tell all your friends you got the shout out. So I went to play around with him at my home course Lausta, and I remember him saying like, "You have learned to putt." And I was making amazing putts all the time, like crazy ones, like ones that I never make. And so before I played my next tournament, Tyyni, I had no nervous feelings or anything like that, but I played Tyyni like 2, maybe 3 weeks after I came back to Finland. I think it was 2 weeks. And I remember being on the first tee. I was nervous, like regularly nervous, and I took a par on the first hole, and then on the second hole of the tournament, I remember I had a great drive, but I had a really, really weak second shot. It was a simple shot that I should pretty much never fail, and I had it real bad, and at that moment, I really got nervous. I started feeling the pressure of all the Finns following me for the last several years and me being on the top of my game right now, best European, the hottest European players currently, one of the hottest players in the world, and all of those eyes watching me, rooting for me, and I felt the pressure. Unfortunately, I know that you shouldn't. I know so many things that you shouldn't be doing, but unfortunately, I could not help it. I felt the pressure, and I was not able to handle it. I was not ready for the pressure, and it got to me. For the next about a month, I was fighting with my game, my happiness, even honestly, and yeah, that was the hardest time for me of 2019, no doubt. I was honestly, I kind of lost my throw. I got like 40th place in Tuni. It was the first time I didn't cash in over 100 tournaments, and I played Estonian Open just a couple weeks after that, and it did not go much better. I decided to drop out from the next two tournaments after Estonian Open, which was the right thing to do for sure. I got some time for myself, and I got some time to practice and get my thoughts together before leaving back to the States for the end of the season, which I did. I'm decently happy with how I did. I felt like going back to the States after the disaster month. I didn't have any parts of my game anymore that were so bad that I couldn't compete, but still not feeling 100% with specifically with my putter and mid-range touchy shots. It definitely dropped my overall confidence a little bit, or enough where it was really difficult for me to have complete great events. So pretty much for the six last tournaments of the year, I finished between 20th and 35th for all of them, which is not awful. It really reminds me of Santa Cruz, where I did so many things good and even great. Like my driving was never bad at all. It was always just that it always is. My putting was not great, but it was not much worse than my regular putting. I hovered around 80 to 90% or 75 to 90% with my putting, which is not even that bad for me. My sidearm actually got way better, so I've had way better sidearm for the last few months than I've ever had. And so what really was the reason why I didn't have any hot finishes was because my overall confidence still lacked from my backhand touch for touchy approaches and mid-range shots from 150 feet up to 350 feet. So I had to play tricks pretty much, like 350 feet. I felt more confident throwing my H1V2 or F1 or F5 rather than PA1 or M4 or M3, or A2. So that was really a hard part for me. Luckily, though, none of those courses had so many of those shots that it wasn't a disaster. But I was able to finish around probably my average finish for the last 6 tournaments. If I had to just guess now, I would give it like 29th place or 30th place, where I finished for the last 5 or 6 events in the US. And that average is at about 1018 rating points, I would say. And it's not that good. My rating dropped from 1036 to currently at 1028. And I played below that for the last half of the season. But yeah, as I said, it reminded me of Santa Cruz in a way that I did so many things good, but overall confidence was still lacking, where I was not able to have those hot finishes. And I just made simple mistakes. Like the last tournament, Hall of Fame Classic, I always put myself in a good position to have a shot for birdie with my second shot, but I just didn't execute on those shots good enough. and so many simple mistakes like 150 feet to the basket. I could go sidearm up shot, I could go backhand up shot, easy. And then I fail that like too soft, too hard, leave it to 25 feet, and then get nervous about having to make that putt and then don't make the putt, stuff like that. But in a way, it gives me confidence because I know that if I just get almost any better at having better focus in those situations and practice those shots specifically, I can easily clean all those things up and not have those easy mistakes anymore and climb up to that top 10 again where I want to be at. And that's what I'm going to be working on. Currently, I'm taking a break from disc golf just because I don't want to be forcing myself going out there in the cold. I'm in Finland now, so I'm not forcing myself, and I'm giving myself a little break. I've never really taken a break from disc golf, and really just giving myself some time doing other things, enjoying my friends and stuff like that. Really what matters to me is that I'm happy. Looking back to the mid part of the season, the disaster month, I was not happy. I was so stressed about my game. And right now, season is over. I'm pretty happy that the season is over, and now I just get to take a minute, breathe, enjoy other things, think. And that's what I'll be doing. I'll be planning my next season. I can already tell you that I won't be playing as much in the US next year. And that's for sure, because I find out that the touring the way I did and as much as I did, it's just not for me. I love playing in the US, but I'll be doing much more short periods of times. Currently, it looks like I'll play the winter time and Memorial, possibly Vegas in between. I'll play Portland, Beaver State and World Championships, and I will play USDGC and National Tour Finals. So right now it looks like I'm playing 7 or 8 tournaments in the States, which is still a good amount. It's still almost 3 months of being in the US, and I'm totally fine with that. And I'll play much more in Europe. I'll play the Euro Tour as much as I can, and as well as the Finnish Pro Tour, the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour in Finland. And that's awesome. I'm really happy about that. I want to be playing more at my home country, more in my home continent in Europe, which I used to do all the time, and I loved it. And I will be loving it again next year. So I'm gonna take some time off, get to practice, get specifically after this off season, I want to be in good shape, health wise and mentally. So that's my biggest mission for the off season. Pretty much that is as fast as I could go through my season. You got a little bit into my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now remember, comment the questions in the comment section. I'll be responding to as many of those as I can. And I checked some stats on YouTube, and seems like most of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So could you please subscribe to the channel? That would be awesome. You would get all the notifications on whenever my vlogs come out, so you wouldn't miss those. And please click the like button if you liked the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys next week.